my segment of the Allegheny 100 challenge. I'm out here on the weekend for a challenge, and I paid my fee, but I'm actually not doing an official 25-mile segment since I'm not starting at mile 0 and going to the 25-ish mile point. I'm starting a bit in and going to the 50-mile point. And I'm starting technically before the official start time. But on the other hand, I'm doing it solo, and I've got low vision. So there, offsetting factors. Well, for a while I was going 1.5 miles per hour. And then I hit a confusion point. Probably cost me at least 10 minutes. And now I'm back on the trail. It's thunder in the distance. Any faint hope I had of managing to go 10 miles is gone. Okay. Maybe I should go around the other way. Phew. Small triumphs. .5 miles. Might be lucky to get to Beaver Run at this pace. I've been walking up and down this little path here for the last at least half an hour. And I'm just confused. I'm what seems like the trail, and then it goes away. I can't find it through this mucky section. I'm just royally screwed here. Son of a bitch. Back at the mucky section, and I see a trail up here This is clearly it. What a goddamn son of a bitch. Ay, yeah. I think I'm supposed to be on this road. I'm just not entirely sure. I think at that last turn, I'm virtually certain I should have kept going instead of turning to the right. I believe now I'm on the Allegheny snowmobile trail and the North Country Trail. It's just a little bit off to my left. I am going to stay on this because if I read the map correctly, in a quarter of a mile, it joins the NCT anyway. Okay, this is a trail. Oh, didn't see a mark or anything, but the position is right. And we'll walk a few minutes down this and see what the map has to say for itself. Well, of course, that wasn't the trail. That was probably the forest road just past the trail. Now I found the trail. 1 mile. I'll be at spring camp. And in 2.7, I'd be at Beaver. Well, based on the speed that I've been making, I don't think I'd get to Beaver until sunset. Well, if I'd gotten here maybe half an hour earlier, I would have continued on. If I'd gotten here an hour earlier, which I could have done if I hadn't made mistakes, I certainly would go on. But it's 1.5 miles, maybe a bit more, to Beaver from here. And it's 7:30. So, no. At least the rain's held off so far. I've got my camp more or less set up. Took about 45 minutes, maybe a bit more. Granted, I haven't actually eaten dinner yet. And it certainly was the right decision to not push on to Beaver Creek, which is 1.7 miles from here. Sorry, Beaver Run. Because there's no way I would have gotten there before dark. I'm here now. Hopefully tomorrow I just have to go twice as far. If I hadn't already been awake 40 minutes ago, the hoot of a very nearby owl would have woken me up. But I was awake. Slowly but surely getting packed up, having a cold breakfast of hiker's best friend, the Pop-Tart. During the night, a few people passed on by, maybe between 1:30 and 2 in the morning, when I happened to be awake. They must be doing 75 or 100 miles, my guess. Cheerily talking as they went by. Oh well, still got some packing to do. Gotta stuff up the bivvy, gotta collapse the tarp. Certainly be on trail by 7. Be great if I was on trail by 6:30. Well, not even a half mile in, and I'm already having issues. I think this is, well, I don't know. All right. This appears to be the trail again. Hallelujah. My oh my. Yeah, I knew people would pass me. Had a 75-mile fellow pass a little while ago, and not long ago, a twosome, couple maybe, well, man and woman. Attempting the 100, carrying really tiny packs, just passed by. Somewhere back at Spring Run Camp is my pack cover. I guess it wasn't a bright enough red for me to notice it wasn't packed. It'll take over an hour to go back there. Without even a guarantee of finding it. And then, of course, got to come back tracing my steps. So at least 2 and probably closer to 3 hours would be lost. All right, that was sweet. Trail maintainer was here, and she'd brought out a bunch of snacks set up at the shelter here, Queen something. Hot and humid, very humid. Lots of mud. Between the mud, the navigation errors, and I wonder how much distance that added to my hike. More importantly, how much time did I lose? And a couple truly nasty blowdowns, including one stunner, just absolutely huge. Have to go around, up, under, through, over. So it's been a long day. I really would have liked to make it to the Hunter Station shelter, but that's still 3 miles away. We'll find a good spot to camp and call it good. Not the best pitch, but it'll do. I'm beat. Oh boy. Well, this cold soak pesto isn't going to win any awards, but it's not bad. Over 15 miles today. Unfortunately, that's not 15 trail miles because I had navigation errors. That lost me a bunch of time. I lost more time dealing with some truly horrific blowdowns that I mentioned earlier. Well, here now. Good morning. Breakfast hiker champions. Part of it anyway. I don't know if my aches and pains are because of how I slept or because of the backpacking trip. It's probably a bit of both. I certainly feel it in the muscles on the sides of my neck and my shoulders. For all practical purposes, the scurry doesn't really transfer any weight to your hips. It has a waist belt, hip belt that maybe stabilizes things, but doesn't really transfer weight. So, well, my pec started out at 12.5 pounds, which isn't that much. You're carrying it all day and you feel it. And then there's the stress of the hiking, the stress of the moving, the stress of the mud, and everything else. And then sleeping, which never is ideal. But it was good enough. It's cooler this morning. About, I think, 8.5 miles to go. Here's to it. Wet, cold, mud encrusted. I really don't want to put them on. It won't last, the unpleasantness, but oh boy. Well, Andy must be awake and moving. Good for him. Now, this is something they certainly could have used. Yesterday, on the miles before the bridge crossing at Minister Creek, I mean, granted, that wasn't very long. And the miles of mud really were miles of mud. A nice shelter. Probably would have been a good place to stay last night. I should know, of course, when you get a super muddy stretch like I just had, that something like this would happen. At least this one looks like I can just go straight through. Success. Well, Andy caught up to me a little while ago. Phew! Gas.
There's the pup right there.
And there's the source.
That's not the source. The pipes here are old and they've got holes in them.
Oh.
And they don't bother fixing them because it's more expensive to fix it than to just let the gas go in the air.
Oh, okay. Two and a quarter miles to go. Burgers at the end. Almost done. Less than a half mile to go. Burger call.
Come on, get in there. You got to go all around that thing on the inside. There we go.
The last little bit